Hi, Ashley.
You ask who gets the money?
Who gets the money? It has to be the money, right?
Well, it's always the money. I mean, this is the way things work. It's
So what's the advantage and to who of doing it in such a complicated way?
well, it's to the lawyers, of course. But the idea is if you buy wind wrecks from wind turbines in Oklahoma, theoretically, the owners of the wind turbines in Oklahoma get the payment.
Huh, yes. But I
you don't
mean,
get the
why,
power from Oklahoma, the people in Oklahoma get the power.
but why have they set it up so that only some things, it's not just, seems like it's very complicated.
It's extraordinarily complicated. No one understands this stuff.
Good. 1, 2. Erin and Arlene are not coming this evening.
Erin and or Arlene?
Erin and Arlene cannot make it.
Oh,
this
got
evening.
it. Okay.
So.
And I-
Councilman Rose on tonight.
Yeah, and I said I was not coming, but my other meeting got canceled, but I do have a conflicting meeting, but I'm here. So I had a different conflicting meeting that I was gonna have to go to, but it got moved out a week. And now I have, but anyway, whenever this finishes, I go to the other one, but I'm here for the duration.
Wow.
And should we wish Alex a happy birthday?
Yes, let's do that.
I sing, but you
That
don't.
was going to be my announcement. Here's my announcement.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you, Julia.
And it's low calorie.
It is.
Erin,
Now it's his birthday. Happy birthday.
thank you.
So we
Thank
should make
you.
it nice and quick, right?
We're
Well,
gonna.
I've got a couple of
it
extra
looks
things.
like it's gonna be quick. Erin now says she is coming, so I'm gonna send her this.
Alex, I want to say that you have the coolest rooster I've ever heard. He crows the theme to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
It's a very chill rooster, I will say.
It is just fabulous. You go out there and he goes,
He seems like he hasn't totally perfected like being a rooster yet.
yeah, no, he's working on it, but he's cool.
Yeah. Well, anytime you need some eggs, Lauren, let me know because they finally have picked up production now.
Yeah, the sun's getting on him.
So, and they're just old and they just are old enough. So they're doing good. All right, one more minute. Well, all right. One more. Did she? Ken, did you stay for the whole meeting last night?
Yes, well, not for the whole meeting, but for the whole part they talked about that Judge was talking.
How much longer did he go on past 7? Do you know?
Well, he took up a full hour.
Yeah,
Then there was some conversation afterwards.
I had to sign off at 7 to.
Because
feed
when
my-
You're
I
talking-
when
you're
I
talking
signed
the Marble
off, I
Town?
looked and said, well,
Yeah.
no, this is here from Woodstock.
Are you talking about the Marbletown Town Board meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got kicked off that after a while, but there was some very interesting things that I heard while I was on.
I hope I didn't miss anything that was too.
Oh, it's
Well,
7.
the whole thing is online. I have a link for it.
Oh, do you? Will you send it to me?
Yes, I will.
Because I had to leave at like after an hour, and
Because
he
Tom
was
sent me the
He
link.
was still going.
Yeah, please send it to, are you going to send it to everyone, Alex?
Sure,
Okay.
I'll send it to everyone.
Or Ken could?
All right, it's 7 o'clock, guys. Let's get started because I gotta be out of here.
Well, I do have a few extra things for the agenda.
Okay, I guess I have a few extra things too, but we'll make it fast.
I'm kidding. you.
Okay, 7 o'clock on February 17th, 2021, calling this meeting of the Woodstock Environmental Commission to order. We have me, Nick, Bob, Aaron, Julia, David, And that is it. And visiting Laura Ricky, we have Lauren Rose and Michael. Oh, is that you?
Yep.
How do you pronounce is it Wait?
Yep.
Oh,
You can-
hi.
Hey.
David.
You can call me Mike. I'm good. How are you doing?
Okay. Thanks for joining us. Okay.
Well,
And
don't forget Ken.
Right.
And Ken. Sorry, Ken.
I've tried to forget Ken. It's not easy to do.
It's just like we all know you're going to be here. It's like it doesn't even need to be.
He belongs.
You
Yeah.
just belong. You're just a part of the air.
Yeah.
Okay. Did everyone get to see the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. What happens if it's going to change and we already? David said he has now something he wants to change.
I was just teasing you when I said that, but what?
Okay, never
if
mind.
that happens,
Okay. Does
it's a
anyone want to
propo-
make a motion to adopt the agenda?
Yep.
So moved.
All right.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And has everyone seen Bob's lovely minutes?
I move that we
Yes.
approve the minutes as presented.
Okay.
Second,
Can you
All
send
in
me a copy
favor?
of the minutes when you have a chance?
I'll send them to you, Ken, or I don't mind sending them to Ken.
Okay. Correspondence, nothing. Arlene is not here, but she's the last person whose ethics forms I haven't gotten back. We still have $340 in our bank account. Very exciting. Any announcements?
yes. Is anyone going to cover anything that was said at the Marbletown Town Board meeting? Was it last night? Whatever night it was. Ken, are you going to say anything about that? Alex, are you?
I was planning on bringing it up when we talked about the clean energy communities agenda item in just a few moments.
Well, the one thing that I thought bears mentioning as an announcement is that there was a lot of discussion. The last thing I heard was there was discussion about making community solar an opt-in model because an opt-out model, I'm sorry, because there will be consolidated billing in a few months and community solar will be presented to subscribers on one bill that comes from Central Hudson, just as any ESCO is now done. So that's that was a very interesting thing that may be a game changer to some people. That's one announcement. The other is that Bill told me a few weeks ago, I don't remember, that Central Hudson had completed installing almost all the LED lights in town, and that they had replaced the lights in the town garage, the highway garage, with LEDs, and the town hall with LEDs as well. Ashley, he told me he was going to send me whatever he had gotten from Central Hudson, be it whether it was a text message or an email, so that we could have that for our records. And if you could remind him of that, I'd appreciate it. And those are my announcements, and thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay, so the first thing that we were originally going to talk about on the agenda was the 10 Church Road item, which Erin then emailed us to say that she really had no updates on, but Lauren is here. So I don't know, Lauren, is there anything you want to tell us about that? I know you were here last week, and then that guy started talking and it took forever, and then
No, my internet up here has been shit lately, so I come and go, but I'm here now. But it's my understanding that the lawyer has put together all the briefs and the affidavits and given them to Ellen, and Ellen has filed them with our town court as of the end of last week, whether it be Thursday or Friday. So things are moving, but at legal speed. So it's frustrating for those of us that look at something and just want to fix it, but it is coming along. So that's about all I have to report.
Lauren, in that we read that article that was in, who sent it? Julia, you sent it around from the Daily Free, was it in the Daily Free?
Oh, right, yeah, that's right. Mhm.
And it mentioned what the results had been of the testing. But I feel like when we last asked you about it, they said there wasn't anything in the, is this newer testing, or had they just not gotten done to all of it yet?
There's been no testing on the soil. We tested the water, Frank's water up there, and that tested good as far as I know, but it would take a long time to get into his well anyway, because he has like 100 feet of casing before he gets into the rock. So it would have to go quite a ways down. They're hoping to take out anything that is not supposed to be there, concrete, whatever. And if they're going to leave soil on there, for all it's worth, I'm going to insist that it be tested, because I mean, most of the carcinogens and things like that, you can't see them anyway. So without testing it, you have no way of knowing what you're leaving there. But supposedly there's a plan coming for tearing it back far enough to make it workable where it doesn't all go into Frank's yard, take out anything that's not supposed to be there, and then we have to test anything they're going to leave there. To me, has to be tested.
Lauren, this is Erin. Thank you for following up on that and, keeping us in the loop. The only thing that I have a concern with, which I don't know if anyone else here shares it, is there's been mention of, okay, he wants to keep the soil because he paid for it. So now that he's going to sift through it, keep what's good, test it, remove the construction debris. That kind of sounds like a sorting business job, or I mean, how on earth is that going to happen on a residential property with like a couple thousand cubic yards of fill? That's not just like a couple weeks of going through dirt. I mean, it took them 11 months to get it there. It just sounds, it's
a massive undertaking. There's no doubt about that. Even if they tear it back enough where they can put up a retaining wall along Frank's property, and
so
then, and then
him to remove it anymore. That's not what the town's asking.
If they can bring it back, if there's nothing in there when they take it back that seems to be hazardous, and they test whatever's left there. The test holes, I was just blown away that there was really nothing in the test holes, that nothing visible. Of course, you can't, like I said, you can't see PCBs, you can't see carcinogens.
Yeah.
So that we have to test for. But if they tear it back, I mean, they have to take probably 500 yards of soil out of there. Now, if the soil's not contaminated and he wants to put it somewhere else on his property, I don't know what you can really do about that. But
some of the soil was already tested by HydroQuest.
I don't
And it
recall.
it didn't come back favorably. The HydroQuest report, everybody's had it. I mean, I've sent it to everybody on the town board and Bill. You guys have it. And that report came back saying it's not local and it's got ash in it. It's got stuff in it. It's not good soil.
It does have stuff like that in it around the edges. Now, so anything like that that's being taken out is going to have to be removed. And so wherever it goes, that's going to have to be tested, which will influence how the rest of it gets dealt with, I would imagine.
So who's going to develop this plan to remove the bad and keep the good? The homeowner who put it there in the first place?
No, I guess the town we're supposed to get a plan from him and the excavator he had up there. And I believe the town will have to approve it one way or another. So, I mean, this is all kind of new to me too. I've never had anybody just come up here and trash the place like this. So, but I have Mr. Wolf's number. I hope to get him up there when they start tearing it apart. And we'll do the best we can with what we can, how we deal with it.
Who's going to I'm sorry, Lauren, who's going to review the plan?
Well, it'll be submitted to the town board. And I'd be happy to, I can't imagine it would be confidential. I'd be happy to show you a copy of it. And
Yeah.
the more eyes on it, the better is the way I look at it, because
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
my strong suit is I know what I don't know. And so all I know is that that's just a bad situation up there. And we can make it work, I guess, if we tear it back and there's nothing really hazardous in there, but I'm not sure about that part either. So I'm thinking we're going to find more stuff in there, but so.
I mean, feel free to use the WEC and me to review anything that you receive.
Oh, don't worry about that. I've never been one afraid to ask for help. So, and the older I get, the more help I need. Can you get me out of my chair?
Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, that's about all I can tell you on this. So I'm going to,
I have one more thing, Lauren,
okay.
since we have you. Are you still there?
I'm still here. Yeah, I got 2 puppies. I just got 2 puppies in there.
Yeah, I
helping
see that. My goodness, they're adorable.
One helping me now.
Actually, there was some discussion with amongst the WEC last time, but you weren't on the call, but we were curious about the Como building. We thought it would be nice if maybe the Como building could have some green building aspects to it. And I reached out to I believe it was Bill. It might have been, I think it was Bill. And he said that to mention it to you because you were, nope, I stand corrected. I didn't reach out to Bill. I'm sorry. Anyway, I was told to contact you and or Richard Hepner because you guys were kind of liaisons with that Cuomo building being built.
That's a pretty sore subject with me. I
Oh,
was supposedly on the building committee, and there was never a meeting that I was invited to. Lester Walker drew up that drawing on there, which I don't care for at all.
oh,
And I'm not in favor of it. I think what ought to happen is, being the church on the flats, the Methodist church up there, is their membership is dwindling. The library should move into that building. They should buy it from them. And I think the town ought to move its offices down into the existing library.
oh, okay. Well, when you guys figure it all out and you start redoing the building, I think the WEC just wants to kind of have some
Well,
input and hopefully you guys will be.
No, I want
green.
I want nothing to do with that, with the addition they want to put on that building. It's
Laura reached out to Bill about that, and
Yeah,
you
that was-
told us about that.
Yeah, that was in the email that I sent. I can state that if you like.
And so Lauren and Laura, and we'll get to this in a few minutes when we get to the CEC stuff. Just to be super clear, I don't think that Aaron or either of any of us meant specifically having input in something design related, location related, any of those things that might be contentious subjects amongst your groups. It's more about, for example, there is a Clean Energies community item about having one town building that uses specific types of cooling and heating, things like that. So it really is not our intent to get involved with any of the more controversial elements of the building, the design, any of those things. We just would love to give you guys some input about potentially working together to make it as green as possible, and get us some like grant money potentially in the process and some.
well, I'm pretty sure that's why I wasn't invited back to any meetings, because they had that one end of the thing is like a fishbowl, glass floor to ceiling. And I said, this town works very hard to keep its carbon footprint down. And now you're putting this fishbowl on the end of this, which is it's just going to lose all the heat you put into it. And that maybe offended their design theories or whatever. So they never called me again. I never heard from them again. So
Yeah.
you
Okay.
don't- but good luck with it. You give it a try too. So
Okay, I'd like to weigh in if I can have a turn. So, I'm not going to speak at all. Lauren shared a lot of opinions. but in any event, I want to loop back to the WEC's input. So what my conversation with Bill was as an entity, the town board is running the plan without having other groups have like a yes, no vote, so to speak. However, I'm always, yeah, as you know, because I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm always very pleased and happy with the work done by the WEC. And I think it makes sense. Certainly any individual can give input. And if the WEC as a body has thoughts or ideas, I'll carry them in and make sure they get heard. I know that Bill is not looking to give any group and, CCD, anybody, he's not going to have them be, we have to get past this group, so to speak. But I always value your input, and I will make sure your input is heard. So certainly everybody's input is welcome. And if the WEC wanted to put together a consolidated piece of input, I would make sure it got heard.
Okay, Laura, is it okay if we maybe come back to this in a couple minutes?
Well, or a couple of weeks, because the project is not yet resumed. So we can come back to it whenever the project gets resumed.
Yeah, when we go through the actions list for the clean energies thing, I think we might just touch upon it again, and it might help with some more information for you than what we had last week when I was just like ranting and raving.
Okay.
So I did speak to Bill about this, and he said that there were that it's all gone through the seeker tweaker process, and it's done. But there are some things that he thought we would be very happy with, like air sourced heat pumps being the provider of heating and cooling for the building. I apologize for my internet caused disappearance for a few minutes, but internet is piss of shit now, so But here I am back.
Okay, so we'll come back to that in a minute. But Julia, do you have anything from watching the last planning board?
Sure. Judith Kerman spent about 10 minutes at the end of the meeting presenting maps that she has constructed using ARC-GIS, incorporating all of the NRI data. And so what she did was she went through and she clicked them on, clicked them off, so people could see what shows up when you look at, for example, different streams or riparian buffers or trout streams or spawning streams or well fields. And she took it through the whole thing, and it took about 10 minutes, and they were delighted to see the wealth of data there. So they're obviously, they've incorporated, they're going to use it, and that's great. She also mentioned, or it was mentioned at the end, that they intend to make a map of the land in Woodstock that can still be developed. That has to do with, it can't be too steep. There's certain criteria that have to be met so that something can actually be developed. And so they're going to create that map, which I think is kind of interesting. So that was about it. But every time now, as you know, they're going to devote about 10 minutes or so to critical environmental areas. And then there's going to be a webinar available from Ingrid in late March. And then at the end of April, the planning board itself is going to have a workshop. So we'll probably be invited to that. So that's it.
Cool, thank you. Okay, so the next thing is the clean energies community. I don't know if anyone got a chance to look through the site. Does everyone on the WEC kind of understand what it, like you guys did some of it a few years ago, is my understanding. Obviously we have some of the point. Right. It kind of got furloughed for a little while, and now it's back. We've had some new members.
Furloughed. Right, it got furloughed because I think they ran out of money, or that there was no more budget. And so there were no more grants available. And around the time that Europa moved over to the Ulster County Planning or Environmental Board, there just was no more money, and the rules seemed to be changing, and suddenly something we'd been pursuing very actively just was not an opportunity for us anymore. And so then we moved to the climate smart community plan instead.
It's nice though that you get points for that. I mean, it's nice the way that the overlaps work, because it doesn't make all of that work
Mhm.
voted, right? So,
Right, so we had filed for 3 different high impact actions, and we still apparently are getting credit for those. Although you're indicating that one of them seems to have timed out, so.
yes, so, okay, so I guess my main question was, did Bob and Nick kind of understand what this is, or did you, so the
No.
Clean Energies Communities is very similar to the Climate Smart program. It's basically just a way of achieving different like benchmarks and getting points that can be then kind of exchanged for grant money. It's a bit simpler in some ways, I would say.
And it's completely focused on clean energy as opposed to Climate Smart Communities is broader. So this would be a subset.
Oh, true. But then being a climate smart community is one of the things you can get points for. So
True.
there are some, it comes out kind of nicely actually. And so we actually have done a number of them already. So I'm going to meet with Anila on Tuesday. Anyone is welcome to join in the call if they are so moved to do.
What time is that call?
It's at 3 to 3:45.
I might be able to join.
So what she sent to me indicated that the community campaigns item, which we had submitted as the Solarize It thing that Woodstock had done, that is the one that has doesn't count anymore.
Mhm.
But she hadn't counted the new things that Julia, you submitted
Mhm.
recently. So she's saying that we have 2 right now, but I think we do actually have the 4, and hopefully by the time we speak, it'll be more confirmed.
So who is it you're meeting with?
So there's this. So the way the CEC works is that every kind of region has like a person that is your point person, who you can contact, and they will help us come up with which actions make the most sense for us to do, how to do them, how to apply for the grant, what we should use the grant money for, kind of
Gotcha.
like a helper.
The person who used to be Europa McGovern, that she was that person for us in the old days before she moved. Remember,
So I'm
David?
going to talk to her on Tuesday and just try to get the groundwork, understand what we have, what we need to do, and what we should do. Laura, the reason that this potentially applies to you guys is because one of the impact actions is converting a municipal building to, like electric with the heat pumps, the air and heat pumps. And then there are a couple, I think there's one other one that has to do with municipal buildings. So there are some things where we're gonna eventually have to come to you guys and talk to them. But if we were already talking about that with whatever renovation you guys are doing, and I know you maybe touched on that, it might make sense for us to just be able to communicate to you what their standards are.
Okay, well, yeah. I
You
guess
know, and then just say like, here's what you guys could do that we would get, this achievement for.
Right. And I guess the one question, and this could be a technicality, but when we do the addition to the Cuomo, if it's considered part of the same building, then you might not qualify. If we can consider the addition its own building and then have all the heat pumps, it might qualify. I would have to find out what the plan is, if any, to change the existing Cuomo, because this existing Cuomo will still exist. This is an addition. So we'll have to know the technicalities of what constitutes a new building. If the addition by itself constitutes a new building, the chances are greater of being able to comply with this than if we had to not only do the right thing with the addition, but also retrofit the existing building, because I'm not quite sure how much. There's going to be some renovation of the existing building, because I think new windows and different things are planned. I'm not sure if there's going to be a heating change to the existing building. So a lot of questions to ask, but I love your idea I love your idea that says, hey, educate the town board or educate me and I'll share with the town board or however you want to do it, but educating so that we know what helps us get this, check mark to say, hey, we've done this. I would love to know what we need to do that. And then we'll ask the question, can it be? And I will say, I don't recall, as Lauren said, oh, there's a whole fishbowl over here. I didn't recall seeing the fishbowl and what the walkers had done. And the walkers did have a very nice 3D, they did a great job, I thought. It's been a whole year since we saw it, because we saw it and then COVID hit and then everything stopped. But everybody on the town board went into the walker's office and saw their 3D model of the current Cuomo, and they had at least 4 different, well, we could do this, and here's the addition. If we did this, it would look like this, that looked like that. So they had a 3D they could just put in there and show. So I didn't recall a fishbowl part of it, but anyway, I haven't seen it for a year. So there's a lot we can look at there.
So one of the other items, and just so you guys all understand, and especially Laura, maybe to some extent, accumulating points is more than just getting a check mark. It does correlate to being able to get money for the town through grants. And in some ways, this program is a bit easier. It seems to get grant money from then the Climate Smart program, because they're kind of just like, oh, you got X points, here's how you do it. You got that, you don't have to go finding grants for specific things. So one of the other items is the community choice aggregation, which we have briefly kind of talked about. And I know, David, do you now want to maybe talk about last night a little bit? Because David? Oh, maybe we lost him.
Well, he's
You're on mute. You're on mute,
Yeah.
David.
I know, thank you.
He's off.
I'm not. I was, thank you.
Do you want to use this as a jumping off point to talk about the Marbletown meeting a little bit?
No, I didn't see enough of it to feel confident that I can represent the meeting accurately. And I think really it's Nick and Bob and I need to dig into this a little bit more before we go up. I don't see any point in doing a half a job on this.
Okay, so well, David and I and Ken, just so everyone knows, we went to the Marbletown Town Council meeting last evening, where someone from Joule Energy was presenting to them about their community choice aggregation and some of the changes that are coming to it, which include, as David mentioned, having the option of community solar in the program. It did sound like there aren't even any spaces available for a couple of years. If it was something we wanted to look into, it is a big points item if we are going to start thinking in that direction. I know it's been controversial amongst the group, and I know, Laura, you've expressed some concerns, but do you, David, Nick, and Bob want to look into that some more? I mean, do you guys want to take that into your solar project that you're working on? Do you want to have others do that?
I'd say, yeah, go ahead, Dave.
No, I think I heard you saying exactly what I was going to say, which is that is the solar project.
Yeah, I think so, exactly. Initial thoughts for me, don't think the town should be adopting one company's solar program so that we get points and a grant. Doesn't seem like a good motivation to me. On a personal note, I don't know if we going after grant money without a clear idea of what we would spend it on seems like the cart in front of the horse. Probably I'd like to come up with a program that needs funding and then seek grant money for it, rather than just going for the grant money and saying, hey, we've got grant money.
Well, the thing is, Nick, that with some of these programs, grant money becomes available, and you can either choose to say, yes, let's go after something. And of course, you don't want to go after something that makes no sense, clearly. But, the grant money doesn't sit there waiting for you forever for you to come up with some ideas. So
no, indeed. But
sure that now has grant money
Yeah,
available
perhaps
again.
perhaps
And-
leaving it on the table for other communities that have programs that they're desperately in need of funding, rather than taking it for ourselves, might be a more prudent way of spending the money.
So they're also, so Nick, just so you have some understanding, and I don't have a 1000% understanding, so I'm not like the end all of experts, but it's not like unlimited grant money for, and like you can't be like, oh, we got this $5,000, we're going to use it for a food bank. Or we got this $5,000, we're going to build the new library.
No,
so
no,
a lot
that's
of the money has to kind of specifically go towards the next steps of what these very programs are. For example, when we talk about, do we need to hire a consultant to tell us what our greenhouse gas inventory is? That's money. So we can use it for some of the next steps in these programs that we're trying to do. And I think that that's part of the idea, is to have the programs kind of be able to fund themselves. I mean, we're a small town. We can't just say like, we're going to retrofit an entire municipal building with, like, according to the stretch codes, when we don't have any money to do it. So this allows us to have some flexibility with the projects that we want to take on, as opposed to like taking it, we're not taking it from like a person who's starving.
No. That's understood and that kind of thing. Basically, it's just that we haven't talked about programs that need $5,000, and so we're a little ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we will, because we have it.
Yeah, I know. Well, we have talked about some programs that require some money, basically. I mean, if you're thinking of bear awareness from promotion, it means creating some promotional materials, and those cost money. And using funds like this for that seemed like good use of the money. On the other hand, it didn't seem like a clean energy program. So there are other environmental things that we're thinking about doing that would require some money that aren't really clean energy.
They're pretty specific to the program. So I think the idea is to fund other items in the program, not to just fund whatever the town wants. Like the solstice thing, when they were talking about money, they were kind of saying, oh, towns have used this for funding the bear awareness program, funding the bike lane, funding the food bank, the COVID relief. Like they kind of could do whatever they wanted with it. This is a bit different. It is a clean energy directed program. So it would be something like, we want to change a police car to an electric vehicle. We need the money to do that.
Okay. Well, that's kind of speculative. My point, and I'm going to go on mute after making it, and let us move on to the next item on the agenda, basically. But maybe we would be better off seeking out and participating in programs that give us grant money for the things that we would like to do that require funding, rather than just going after this one that's got grant money available just because it's got grant money available. So I guess what I'm saying is basically perhaps clean energy. We don't have a lot of programs that we wouldn't want to use the money for, and perhaps no, there are other programs out there we could participate in. Anyway,
Nick, do you want to take on the project of finding grant money for some of the things that we've talked about? Because we definitely have some things in mind we would love to have money for, if you can point us in the direction of where that money is.
Yeah, I know. The money's all in the climate and clean energy. That's where that's where the government's handing out grants.
Yeah, can I take a turn?
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so to me, this ties in with your Cuomo addition idea. If you did get grant money and it were supposed to be geared towards clean energy, when the Cuomo addition happens, wouldn't that be a great place to help put clean energy with grant money? I'm not sure why that would be a bad idea.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. It is not necessarily feasible. It all depends on how much money we get and when. So
well, and where you want to put it. But I'm saying, if you didn't have another clean energy idea, I'm just throwing an idea in the pot there. That's all.
It definitely can be used for, and it doesn't have to be that property. It can be another municipal property that can get retrofitted to have some of these specifications that would need to be paid for, that grant money could pay for, certainly. If we wanted that to be the next step, we might not have the money in time. Does that make sense?
No, exactly. But I'm just thinking that there may be, if clean energy is the only thing it can get used for, I've got to believe there are places in the town owned properties where clean energy, where there could be more clean energy. And if you had a grant to help make it happen, yeah, I'm just throwing that out as a possibility, because I understand you don't want to go looking for money if you don't really already have identified a need for the money. But a lot of times, if you do have the money, you realize you have opportunities. You can brainstorm opportunities that you never would have brainstormed, because if you have no money, you're not going to brainstorm things. So sometimes the things go together. That's all.
Yeah, and you also get a certain amount of time from when you qualify for it, that you can decide how it's going to be spent. So if we did qualify for a certain amount of money, we can then take a few months to figure out what program we wanted to direct it toward. You don't have to like know the day that they hand you.
Right. You basically get about 3 months to make a decision about how you want to use the money. And then you get a certain amount of time to actually get the project underway. And then it all has to be used within about 6 months to a year. There is specific guidelines, but it's fair. And the point is, if we don't start thinking about these things, we'll never do anything. So let's, move ahead, right? And the $5,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but to me, that's something. And it's ours for the taking as long as the money is there. And why not use it for Woodstock? That was my hope.
It's kind of a drop in the ocean for Woodstock.
Of course it is, but it's better than no money.
It's rather less than the property tax check I wrote personally.
Unless you want to write a check for $5,000, I think this would be an addition. It would be.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, it is and it isn't, because on the one hand, we all know how much like Woodstock probably really has, but then when we as a group want something and they're like, oh, your budget's $340, like,
Right.
Don't spend it all in one place, then $5,000 feels like it could really get us somewhere. So
Yeah, I know.
you're not giving us the other money.
If it was the WEC's money, then I'd be a bit more enthusiastic, but I imagine it's the town's money.
Not true. Not true. If we get the money, and we specify how we want to use it, then it's our money to go ahead and use in that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and Nick, I mean, I sent the link to Bob too, because you're learning about it, and to everyone. I did send the link, I think earlier today or yesterday. So if everyone wants to like dig into that website a little bit and see what some of the actions are, and what the grants are and what we can use them for and how the point system works, it could be very helpful. And after I speak to Anila and she gives me a better picture of where we are and what we can accomplish, then that will be even more helpful. Okay.
So
And
Alex, one more thing before we
Yeah.
close this out. Okay. So my definite opinion is that we lost one of the high impact actions. So now we have 3, because we have 2 viable ones that we've already documented. Then I documented a 3rd one yesterday, I think it was, and that's the bronze certification. So then we need a 4th in order to get the $5,000. And
So
that
what I have here is that we have the clean fleets.
right?
We
Unified
have
solar permit.
We have the solar permit. You
Mhm.
submitted the climate smart communities certification.
Right.
And then Ken says we also have the LED streetlights, which has not yet been documented.
Correct.
So that would be 4.
That's right.
That gets us to 4.
And that gets you to $5,000.
That's right. Which I'm
Okay.
spending on my birthday party. Sorry, Nick.
Right. So the
Yeah,
point is
yes,
about
Nick.
the documenting the LED streetlights. There are some things that are needed, and I just wanted to mention that before we close this out. All right.
All right.
What's needed, I looked it up. So you have to submit a completed LED streetlight certification form or comparable information demonstrating that a minimum of 50% of all municipal and utility-owned Cobra Head style streetlights have been converted to LED within the geographic jurisdiction. So,
Can I send that to you?
yeah, great.
right. By the end of the
Great.
week, we'll have it.
So if you could send it to, I don't know that I can make the call with Anila, so send it please also to Alex. And Alex, if you would share that with Anila, that's her job to help us understand if
Yeah,
that's
okay.
what's needed or if something else is needed. You know, just say, is this, if we would submit this with an explanation of what you're looking at, would this satisfy the need for documentation?
We'll-
Okay.
We also need that documentation for the Climate Smart submission.
Yeah, that's done. All that needed was I'm sorry?
When we submitted for Climate Smart, all we submitted were the checks. Essentially, we paid for this, but we haven't done it yet. Came back and said, well, when you're done, you know, give us the final documentation, although they gave us all the points we needed. We just have to finish that up.
Right. In this case, we need to show that we've done it. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And now we have that information.
great.
I just, quick note, I don't know that we can't say we've done it because they won't, only 50%. Never mind. Ignore me.
Yeah.
I was going to say not all the light bulbs will be replaced. Never mind.
Right,
Sorry.
it is a
No, I've been
50%
replaced.
standard, but here's the other question
50%.
that comes up. Ken, given that we've got one item in the LED streetlights, which we've attained, all we need to do is get the paperwork going. The question then is, does the replacement of other bulbs, which I believe were CFLs in the highway garage and the town hall, with LEDs, give us anything in the way of an upgrading or improving or retrofitting an existing building? I mean, is that an item for which we could get credit?
Well, it's
Since
an
it's
item
been
to get
done.
credits, but there's items we're not working on.
I'm sorry, say that again?
There are items that allow you to get credits for upgrading lighting within buildings, but we're not
good.
working on those items.
Okay. all
There's
right.
an item called decorative streetlights, but that's a whole other thing.
No, I mean, it's under the CSC program. There are items about,
Yeah.
you know, upgrading the lighting within your buildings,
Mhm.
which we've done.
Well, but Ken, couldn't that go under the clean energy upgrades, achieve a 10% reduction in the greenhouse gas emissions from municipal buildings? Could that be a part of that? I mean, a small part, but.
Well, we're doing that one. But is that under the Clean Energy Act or is that under?
Yeah, it's under one of the clean energy communities items is achieve a 10% reduction in the greenhouse gas emissions from municipal buildings.
What's the date on it?
It just says clean energy upgrades.
It doesn't say it has to be done. You can't do it before, you know, July.
Oh, I'm on. Unfortunately, I have this like very basic printout in front of me that doesn't have the specific stuff of when it has to be done. I mean,
So
we've
with
done
the
that
high
calculation
impact
for the,
actions,
for Woodstock's buildings, and we're like at 30% reduction.
Oh, from when to when? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, or from 2011 till 2019. We're at,
Okay, I'll ask Anila because I mean, if we're at whatever we're at, we might just have to take it 10% more, even if we're already down from before, you know?
yeah, 'cause, I mean, we have that data for the, you know, the town hall and for the, well, not necessarily the highway garage, but the, and the community center. Yeah, we
Okay, so that's one of them, just so you.
50% in each of those cases.
And that was a replacement of CFLs with LEDs, not of incandescents, as far as I know.
Okay. All right, so we'll keep working on that. I'll fill you in, guys, after Tuesday.
Because a lot of those issues, you know, we've completed, but they were done before they allow you to take
Mhm.
forth.
right?
I mean, anything before 2020, it seems to be excluded.
A lot of
With
them, it seems like
NYSERDA,
were 2016.
Yeah, it's August 1st, 2016 for NYSERDA. That's the cutoff. It has to be, a lot of the work has to be done after that, documented
Yeah.
after that.
So, I mean, if we're almost at zero, Ken, shouldn't that make it easier? You switch out a couple light bulbs, there you go, boom, 1,000 points.
Yeah, should be easy.
All right. Okay. Anything else about the clean energies communities for tonight? Does anyone have any more questions? All right. Pollinator Pathway, not much of an update except that next Thursday, the 25th, at 7, there is a webinar with one of the lawyers from the NRDC talking about the use of the neonics, and how they affect the pollinator population, and some of the state legislator stuff that they're working on to combat that. So that is next Thursday at 7 p.m. If anyone wants to attend or invite anybody. And then the last thing was an Arlene thing, but she's not here tonight. So there isn't much to say, but she has been contacting me, talking about maybe being interested in trying to get a sort of lecture series going, like 4 times a year, with having, like Zoom speakers. And I don't know what she wanted to share with us about that. So we'll have to save that for when we see her again. Anyone else, anything?
I got a couple of announcements.
There's a part at the beginning, Ken, for announcements,
Well, I'm not a member.
Why did you ask for announcements then?
I did.
No, just now. And why, Michael?
I didn't say announcements. I said anything, like a question. No, Ken, go ahead.
I feel like we need a kumbaya break.
Yeah.
I want to know why Michael is here. Not to be rude, Michael. I don't want you're completely.
Ken was just about to talk, David.
Put him on mute so I can do my announcements. Rebecca Martin from Riverkeeper is going to be speaking at the Environmental Management Council meeting next Wednesday about the Ashokan discharges. So, and she's going to bring in some of the technical and legal help from Riverkeeper to that presentation. So if you're interested in attending, send me a note and I'll send you the contact information and the Zoom information. Also, as a surprise this afternoon, I received this correspondence from FERC, the Federal Energy Resource Corporation, so I don't know what it is, a regulatory commission, saying there's a proposal to build pump storage facilities in the Ashokan watershed. So they have 3 sites set up, one in Woodland Valley, one in Scony Creek, and one in what they call Wittenberg. I don't know if it's actually in Woodstock or not, but there, there's a process that's starting to look at pump storage in the Catskills. And this was.
Can you send that to me?
Great.
Can you send that to me?
Yeah, I'll send it.
Thank you.
Send it, yeah, send it to all of us. I'd like to read that.
Because it's, I mean, it's sort of like someone going to build a nuclear power plant in your backyard all of a sudden, or the town dump in Woodstock. This sounds like a big deal.
Well, finally, maybe people would stop moving up here.
Well, it'll be underwater if they do. I figure the Ashokan watershed is just going to be the refugee camp for the people in New York City who get pushed out by the sea rise problem.
Everyone is welcome here. I've seen the signs in town, okay?
Also, that's the merchants. They're putting up those signs.
Michael, did you just want to look at us because we're cute? Do you have something you want to?
I'll skip
Hey.
that question. No, I'm a Woodstock resident, and I'm also a research scientist at Columbia in mechanical engineering, and I kind of study energy transition in New York State and how to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from buildings primarily, and focus on New York State a lot. Wanted to figure out or see what was going on locally, if I might be able to support it or just kind of keep tabs on what was going on. Before I was in academia, I was a design engineer, so I would design buildings for energy efficiency, stuff like that. So I just thought I would see how I could possibly get involved, but just for now, kind of see what y'all are up to.
Cool. Well, welcome. We were recently talking about how there's all these people here who do really cool stuff that we just don't know them, and we would love to tap into that resource some more. So you're our first tap. That's awesome. Michael, there is a WEC email, which is just WEC at woodstockny.org.
Okay. I'll find it.
If you want to reach out maybe physically in that way, just so we have your contact information and some of your info, and then it's easy, we'll never find you again this way, because we'll be like, remember that guy who was there? That might be the best way to just get in touch and to open up some dialogue.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know how it operates. I was sitting here quietly, but I would be happy at some point to help chime in on some of the stuff, or if you want to bounce ideas off of, especially like community scale type of thing, I'm happy to chat about it.
Maybe you could be part of our lecture series. Sorry.
Michael, hi, this is Erin. I would love to pick your brain offline, maybe after the meeting, or sometime the next couple of days, and see how it sounds like you could be a wonderful resource to help us with getting some climate smart actions, and also some other things for the town. So
you emailed the climate email address, which I think you own, because I forgot who her name, Ashley. Maybe she's on. She's the one who kind of sent me the Zoom meeting for this and other things, and she gave me the climate. I can't keep track of all these names. Climate.
No worries.
Climate, whatever the task.
No worries. I haven't checked the email in let me think. Oh yeah, forever. So
well, Michael, I check the WEC email every day. If you want to just say, hey, this is Michael from the meeting last night.
Cool.
Here's how to reach me. I'll make sure Erin gets it. We can have it somewhere that's saved and remembered.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I do feel a need just to ask this, because Michael, it sounds like you are a professional. So as people reach out and pick your brain, is it your expectation it will be for a fee, or is your expectation as a Woodstock resident, you're helping the process as a volunteer?
That I'm helping the process as a volunteer, I guess. I mean, I hadn't even really thought about that, to be honest, but no, I mean, I have an academic appointment as a research scientist at Columbia. I can do some consulting, but that's not what this would.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just want to make sure as we set expectations, because we talked about budget and the town has a really big budget. Well, yeah, it does, but it's all going someplace. So I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have a wrong expectation. So, but I definitely appreciate your expertise. Sounds wonderful for this group.
See, Laura, there are good people still around, and we found one.
Well, I'm looking at 9 of them, not counting myself. I think I'm a good person too. Anyway, I'm looking at a lot of them right here on my screen.
So the check you guys wrote me isn't going to clear this month? Is that what you're saying, Laura?
You got it. You got it now.
Yeah.
Michael, I just want to thank you personally for showing up and being willing to take a look at us and see what you might be able to do to help the town. Just thank you.
Hey, no problem.
Oh, and just as a personal announcement, I got my second jab this afternoon, and I'm feeling a little crappy, but I'm feeling happy crappy.
Did you get Moderna or Pfizer?
Moderna, because I already got the chip. I got the chip in my arm on the first shot. So
the chip. Yeah.
Where'd you go, David?
I'm sorry?
Where did you go? I'm curious, because I'm going to Syracuse on Sunday for my first shot.
How old are you, Bob?
112?
No, stop it. If you're over 65, just go to apothecary.
No, I'm not over 65. I have an underlying health condition. But I had some, anyway, so I'm going to Syracuse with my wife.
Okay, good luck. But that's a 2-hour drive. I know it intimately.
So David, did you go to apothecary?
Yeah, I'm over 65. That's what's going on in town. If you're over 65,
but they don't have it like on the ready. You have to wait until they get it. So
yeah, you sign up. There's a whole process. There's a lot of hoop jumping and crossing your I's and dotting your T's and all that stuff. And but Neil is great. When he slots you got a slot. Period. He's doing a great job. And
did you get it in your arm or your ass?
Arm.
I thought the ass was the test now.
I just had to say that. Sorry.
No.
Well, it's way out of line, Bob. It really is. It's.
I know, I'm hungry, I'm tired.
All
Anyway,
right, everyone.
Uh,
Michael, thank you. Send me an email tomorrow. We'll get your info organized. Erin will have it. She can find you. It's WEC@woodstockny.org. It is 7:55 and we are officially closing the meeting. Thank
Happy
you. guys.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Good night. Everyone.
Get some rest, David.
You bet. Drink some wine.
Congratulations,
Drink some
David.
wine. Take care. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
good night.
Thanks, Ashley.